be honest with you, overall, it's been pretty disappointing. And I think that the first 12 months, there have been blunders, and the 12 months have been defined by the length of time taken to clean up those blunders, particularly on winter fuel payments and now on welfare cuts, where the initial proposal was to take money away from people who are disabled, and then that was partly unceremoniously dumped earlier this week. So, John, overall, as I've said, some decent things, but it's been a difficult first year and a mixed first year for Keir Starmer.
Yeah, I don't think that anyone in Labour would try to pretend that it's been the best start that a new government could get. If you think back to when Labour came into power, the talk was all about fixing the foundations and steadying the ship. You know, even then they were sort of trying to manage expectations in terms of what they could achieve. I think that even given those managed expectations, people feel that they're doing quite badly at the moment. But, you know, I think you're right to point to some really quite significant achievements. The boost to wages is a huge thing. I think you need to remember there was a lot of industrial unrest, or looking at doctors going on strike, all of that sort of stuff. They have managed to deal with a lot of those issues. There's things like the tax on private schools that I don't think we'd ever have saw a Tory government doing. I think that's a positive thing, but it's difficult to escape a lot of the sort of missteps that have been made. You feel almost that a lot of these things, presentationally, it's been a bit of a disaster. If, for example, they had just gone in with a policy that was rolling back the winter fuel payment a little bit, for example, saying that they would tax it so that the richer pensioners would effectively lose it, and poorer pensioners would retain that. You know, they could probably have done that, got away with it easily. It's the same with the welfare changes. They've started off with quite a hardline position. They've then been forced to roll it back, and it kind of starts to look like the sort of constant U-turning that we saw from the Tories before them. So I think they were right to say when they came into power that there was a really difficult job. The public finances were in a terrible state, and that changes had to happen in terms of spending, and that there was in amongst that there was ways of making life better for people, and they've been successful in some of those areas, but presentationally just feel like they're not. There's a problem in that Keir Starmer just doesn't come across as a guy with a plan who knows his own mind and knows where he's going.
And John, I'll come to the inheritance in a moment. But at PMQs today, Kemi Badenoch laid into Chancellor Rachel Reeves. It appeared that Reeves started to cry. The explanation for this is that it was a personal issue. But again, the optics of that, the Chancellor who is embattled, people are calling for her head, people want someone else in the job, crying in the chamber, doesn't look good, does it?
No, I mean, I think you need to accept at face value. There could have been another reason for this, but yeah, the Chancellor of the Exchequer in tears behind the Prime Minister is not a good look. I mean, I do think that Rachel Reeves is being made to carry the can for a lot of things that clearly she was not the ultimate decision maker on. For example, winter fuel benefits, all these things, these were not decisions that were taken purely by the Chancellor. The Prime Minister was involved too.
Well, winter fuel is her mess, no? Well, but ultimately, all these missteps come back to the Treasury.
Do you really think that Rachel Reeves was the only independently made a decision to cut that, and that Keir Starmer didn't okay it? I mean,
I think it originated from the Treasury, but he signed it off. I don't think something like that would happen without the.
Well, I mean, in that case, the Prime Minister is responsible for every decision. She has to be, she has to carry the can for the two major cock-ups, and they've all been cash related. There's the benefits cuts and winter fuel.